Hi everyone, I'm Danielle with Trinity Readings. We are doing the Taurus May Tarotscope. Keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you find that the reading doesn't resonate, you can always check your moon, rising, or Venus placements because sometimes those will resonate more. And I do offer personal readings. You can get all that information in the description box. All right, so first of all, happy birthday season, Taurus. We are going to see what you've got going on for this month. I think Venus is also going into the sign of Taurus, so I definitely feel for you. It's gonna feel a lot more grounded for you this month, especially within your relationships and in your finances. When Venus does go into Taurus, it is important to be mindful of what your values are, be mindful of what's important to you, and make sure that you're kind of sticking to that and putting boundaries up towards that. Definitely take some time this month to celebrate you, to enjoy the things that feel good. Let's see, what are the messages that are wanting to come through for you this month? What's the strongest message your guides want you to know? This has kind of been a pretty strong message that I've seen come up in a lot of collective readings and even a lot of personal readings, to be mindful of the assumptions that you're holding about yourself, about other people, about situations, especially like the stories that you're telling yourself. I kind of feel like, especially people that, if you like watch a lot of tarot readings, not that that's a bad thing, but like there's always like seems to be like a repeated story. It's really important to be mindful that you're not going more by an assumption or a story that you're telling yourself, or that you're hearing, or that you're assuming. It's like, let go of moving based on assumptions and start moving based more on what is going on, like in direct conversations, if that makes sense. Let go of making assumptions. Let go of making any major decisions based on an assumption. Like, instead of holding on to an assumption, have a direct conversation. Yeah, it's like, I feel like for some of you, like there's a story that you're telling yourself, or an assumption that you're holding on to, or even like a refusal, maybe not necessarily a refusal, or like, because you're not dealing with a situation directly. Like, there might be somebody that you're dealing with that you have just cut contact with, that you're not going to talk to this person until they apologize, or until this or this or this happens. And it's like putting up some kind of blockage or some kind of wall until something happens. But it's like, by leaving it like the way that it is, it's creating all of this space for all of these stories to get told, and all of these assumptions to kind of settle in, right? And I feel like it's important, like, not to let yourself get into that space. It's almost like there is like a direct conversation being avoided. This could be like somebody that you're dealing with. Like, it reminds me of this person I was dealing with like a year or two ago. Um, I was like telling this person that it was really important to kind of like put up boundaries, right? And put up boundaries with people and not engage in, argumentative conversations, right? But this person like kind of took it to the extreme. And so what this person started doing was like, and I also was guiding this person that they needed to start speaking their truth more, speaking their feelings more. And so what this person was doing was they would reach out to somebody, speak their truth to them, send them, I feel this, like all of their feelings, right? And kind of dump all of the truth on them, and then instantly block the person, so like not leaving that person any room to respond. And that's how they were dealing with people in their life, is they were speaking the truth, they were putting their boundaries out there, but they were not like, they were saying what they wanted to say and then putting that wall up and not letting any interaction, like any engagement. And so they weren't leaving any room for a solution. And so I feel like it's important, like if you're noticing any kind of similar energy that you're dealing with, whether it's something that you're dealing with another person, or whether it's even something that you're noticing within yourself, it's like, make sure that you're just kind of maybe taking time this month to get rid of any like preconceived notions or any assumptions, and just trying to have more direct conversations, or dealing with things in a more direct way. Let me see a little bit more. What is the message that wants to come up? Yeah, there might be, for some of you, there might be a situation that is a lot more innocent than it appears. It might also be that you're dealing with a situation that you're wanting somebody to take responsibility, or there's some kind of responsibility or ownership that needs to happen. But it's like there's something that has started and it needs to get more grounded. Like there's something that needs to be, like, there's somebody or a situation that needs more commitment, needs more structure, needs more responsibility. But because it's not being communicated, or the way that it's being communicated is in a more like passive aggressive way, it's creating kind of this restriction. And the reason that it's being dealt with in the way that it is because of like a preconceived notion or an assumption that is being held, that this is the way that it has to be. Yeah, and for some of you, it's almost like, I feel like there's a situation that is being perceived as dishonest, or a person is being perceived in a negative light. It might even be you being perceived in a negative light, but it's like a lot more innocent than it appears. And it's like, it's almost like you're waiting for something to happen. You're waiting for somebody to take responsibility for something, but they might not even realize that they're needing to take responsibility for this. And it's like a lot of stuff is based on an assumption more than anything. This is also something that I've noticed, like, if you ever watch like TikTok readings about like this person is in love with you and they're just scared to say that they're in love with you. They have mother issues. They have this, they have this, they have this, they have this, they have this. And so it's like a lot of like the tarot readings, especially like tarot readings that are specifically speaking on another person's feelings, why another person feels the way they do, why they're acting the way that they do. It's like there's this whole background story that is being told, right? Oh, they really love you. They're just scared. They're scared to come forward. And I notice like a lot of people will have this whole background story, like, yeah, this person's an asshole. Just because they have mommy issues, they can't tell me that they love me and blah, 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 blah. Right? But this person and that, like, there has never been an actual face-to-face or direct conversation about that. It's all based on what this story that has been told. Right? And so I feel like it's really important to be aware, like if that is something that is going on, again, to be aware that there might need to be more direct conversations that are had. It might even be that somebody that you're dealing with has heard a lot of stories about you, and it's important for you to kind of, like, again, there's a need to have more upfront engaging conversations instead of dealing with things based on assumptions. So let's see if we can get a little bit more what this message is, and a little bit more on what you need to be aware of this month. If any of you are involved in some sort of third party situation, I feel like it is not at all what you perceive it to be. And I feel like there's a need for you to make a different decision in regards to this, whatever that means for you. Because there is a lot about this that is being assumed, or that is not what it appears to be. And I also feel like it's almost like it's being dealt with in a very lighthearted way. And again, like, it's not what it appears to be. And that's for anybody who knows that they're dealing with some sort of third party situation, whether, you're needing to choose between two people, or you're dealing with somebody that is trying to choose between two people. It is not being seen clearly. There's a lot that is like not, that is not what it appears, and that's because it is being seen through the, through the confusion of a third party situation. And it's like there needs to be a different decision made. It's like if you're trying to deal or choose between two different people, I almost feel like you're not going to be able to see the truth and make the right decision until you deal with it more directly. If you're dealing with somebody else who is trying to choose between you and another person, don't get caught up in the trap that the other person is like a piece of shit. Because I feel like things are not what they appear to be. I'm also hearing like there's three sides to the story. There's your version, there's their version, and then there's the actual truth. And the truth is where you need to go with this. And the way to get to the truth is, again, have a more direct conversation or deal with this in a different way than you have been in the past. Something needs to be brought to light. Something needs to be brought out in the open. Something needs like attention put on it in a physical sense. Something needs to be dealt with in a more direct way. But I almost feel like because like there's like you love this person, or there's a lot of love in this situation, like not wanting to hurt somebody's feelings. There might even be children involved. And again, it's like there's something that is more innocent than it appears. But there's also something that's being dealt with in too innocent of a way, right? Like there's somebody who's being like, it's almost like you're babying somebody who doesn't need to, like somebody's being babied when they don't need to be babied. And somebody is being perceived as a bad person or a dishonest person when they're not really, they're more innocent than they appear. And it's almost like there's going to be like, if like this needs to be dealt with in a more direct way, or it's going to create like this kind of like battle back and forth of like a lot of like reactive kind of energy until the situation changes. I do kind of feel like things are suddenly going to turn in a different direction. But it might initially, you know, start as like something very aggressive. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of uncertainty because there's a lot not being dealt with in a direct way. And I kind of feel for some of you, it's like somebody's going to get upset because they feel like they're losing something. They're tired of, yeah. It's like there's a need to, again, there's a need to do something differently. Because otherwise it's like this is all going to kind of remain up in the air. Ace of Pentacles, yeah, it's like your guidance this month is if you want this burden to be relieved, if you want to have an actual solid new beginning. In order to have what you want, there's something that needs to be dealt with in a physical way, in a practical way. There's something that needs to be brought out into light, instead of, it's like the weight of the assumptions or carrying all of this. It's like it's going to continue in the same cycle until it's brought out, until it's brought to light. Because it's like there's dishonesty going on that is not being seen as dishonesty. But there is also truth happening that is being perceived as dishonesty. Somebody's like avoiding what they really want, avoiding what they really desire. And like the true desires and the true purpose is not being communicated. The truth of what you want is not being communicated, or the truth of what somebody else wants is not being communicated. In order to get what you want is available. In order to get what you want, you have to kind of let go of it's like you're holding on and waiting for something to change, or it's like staying in the same place, and that's not going to get you where you need to be. Yeah, it's like there's some kind of action, there's something being avoided, communication being avoided, a conversation being avoided, or action being avoided because of a not wanting to deal with the conflict, or because of the assumption of conflict and competition. But until it's brought to light, it's going to continue in this cycle of uncertainty. I hope that makes sense. I love you all. Have a wonderful month. Bye-bye.